I am Fathi Osman. I'm an artist, art historian, critic, and curator. Today we are in Almas Art Gallery in Sazak, where we have the exhibition of the works of the late Dr Ahmed. Dr Ahmed is one of the pioneers of Sudanese modern art. He was born in Khartoum in 1933 and studied in Sudan and at the Royal College of Art, graduating in 1962. And then he went back to Sudan to teach at the College of Fine and Applied Art in Khartoum for a few years before leaving to East Africa to work in University of Makerere and in University of Nairobi, and then back to Sudan around 1974. The first time I saw the works of Dajasir was back in the late 70s through some of the illustrations he did for the magazine at that time called Khartoum. And it struck me that he's kind of a different artist, the way he does his work, the way he thinks about his subjects. So I got interested in his work, and I tried to find him and see more of his work wherever possible. Unfortunately, there was nothing much, of his work in Khartoum, and because he lived outside Khartoum most of his life. So I decided that whenever possible, I will try to document his work and try to put it together for other people to see, because the work wasn't shown in Khartoum at all. He was living, as I said, abroad for a long time, actually until 2 years before he passed away. So it was a mission for me. It was something that I really wanted to do, because I believe he was one of the greatest artists of Sudan, and maybe not only in Sudan, but worldwide. His achievement and his legacy deserve to be recognized and recorded and presented. Dajasir did, over the years, did participate in a few group exhibitions in outside Sudan, mainly in Egypt, in Kuwait, in London, in various locations, and in Amman. But he had only two individual shows. One was before he left London in 1963 at the Thames Gallery in Windsor, and that was reported widely and was appreciated very much by the Guardian newspaper and by Chelsea Post newspaper. And then he had, in 2010, he had his solo exhibition, a kind of retrospective exhibition in Jordan, in the National Jordanian Fine Art Gallery. So these were the only two solo exhibitions he had during his life. So this exhibition is the third exhibition to show a collection of his work from the 1960s until the late 2010. That was the last piece. He painted in Jordan. So it is a rare opportunity for anyone interested in his work or in Sudanese art in general to see this exhibition, because we managed, with the help of the Royal College of Art, to get very rare pieces of his work, especially the printmaking work, lithography and etching, from their collection, which all date back to 1960, 61, and 62. So this is a very rare opportunity indeed, for anybody interested to see them. Also in the exhibition, we have some of his latest work, about 3 major pieces from the Jordanian Museum, together with other pieces as well from private collections. Also in the exhibition, we had a wall dedicated to the letters he wrote an exchange with the artist, Sudanese artist Hassan Musa in France. And these letters are very important because it gives an insight into his way of thinking, into his opinion in different things, in life, ranging from artworks, techniques, art history, criticism, identity, his relation with Sudan also. Actually, his relation with Sudan is central to his life and to his artwork because he loved his city, Khartoum, very much, and he kept it in his memory for a long time, and he always wanted to draw Khartoum from memory, which he did so many times. And in this exhibition, we have some pieces which represent this theme of loving Khartoum, loving his own grandfather's house, and painting it and drawing it in different ways. So this exhibition is really a rare opportunity, and I hope everybody interested will come and see it. When Tajassir returned to Sudan from Jordan in 2013, 2014, I'm not quite sure about the date, it was a great chance for me, to meet him and interview him for my project, to do and document his work in a book. So I met him, I sat with him for long hours, and we discussed so many things to do with his experience in life and his story as an artist, where he started and where he ended. And that was a very interesting interview, which unfortunately I lost in the war which erupted in Sudan 3 years ago. After that, I decided that I should carry on doing this because unfortunately he passed away in 2015. He left behind quite a volume of work. It's scattered all over the place, outside Sudan, and very few in Sudan. So I thought maybe, I should do everything possible to document this work and write a book about him. So after the war, I moved outside Sudan, and then I started working on this book, which took me nearly 2.5 years to complete. I went to different places to interview people and to collect information about Tajassir's life, and collect information also from his family, and get photographs, photographing his paintings in Jordan, in private collections, and collaborating with so many places, and especially the Royal College of Art, where he spent about 4 years studying art. And fortunately, they were very happy, to help with this project. So I sort of managed to collect the essential data, for writing the book. And also, I was fortunate that Hassan Musa had a number of letters exchanged with Tajassir, so they formed also an important part of the book. I was also, fortunate to have the support of Almas Art Foundation, which got very much interested in publishing the book, and also we got support from AFAC to, also support the project. So I managed, somehow to produce this book, which I think it is an important document about the life and the work and the art of Tajassir Ahmed. The book is composed of about 5 chapters and appendixes. So the way I divided the book is trying to reflect on his early years, which we call them the formative years, since his birth until he graduated from the Royal College of Art. And that was from 1933 to 1963. Then in the second chapter, I was looking at his time between East Africa locations, Kampala and Nairobi, where he spent about 8 years, from 1968 to 1976. Then his return to Sudan, or what I call the second return to Sudan, or to Khartoum specifically. But these were the years of barrenness and isolation, because Tayassir didn't feel quite happy to stay in Khartoum and work there. For some reason, he was not really comfortable with the atmosphere, with the work conditions, and with everything around him. So again, he decided to leave, and he left Sudan in 1986 to Saudi Arabia. And then from Saudi Arabia, he went to Jordan in 1994, where he stayed until 2013. So these were the initial chapters. And then in the last chapter, I was looking at the work of Tayassir and discussing his legacy in much more detail. I mean, his work, his thinking, his opinions, and so forth. The last part was the letters he exchanged with Hassan Musa, which were all in the book, for people to read and see how he thinks about life, art, and the circumstances, I mean, he lived in throughout his life. What is interesting about Tayassir is the fact that he, from the beginning, and that is literally from his childhood, he decided to be an artist. And for that, he did everything to try to achieve this goal. And he decided that anything else is not for him, not even studying in the University of Khartoum, studying law, or studying anything else. And then his family sent him to Sheffield to study architecture, because being an artist wasn't something that is much acceptable at that time in Sudan. So he came to Sheffield, stayed for 1 year, but again, he decided that it's not for him, and he wanted to study art, so he joined the Royal College of Art in 1959. So the whole story of Tayassir is very much interesting, because it is full of details of somebody who was adamant that he wanted to achieve something, and at the end of the day, he did that. One of the things I noticed in Tayassir's work is the reoccurring of certain themes. And one of them is the drawing and painting of a house in Khartoum, a house he very much loved and kept in his memory and returned to it so many times, which is, in fact, it is the house where he was born, which is the house of his grandfather. This thing is obviously tell you a lot about the sentimental relation between Tayassir and Khartoum and his family house, because he kept doing this for a long time and in different places. I mean, he did this in Jordan, he did this in Kampala, he did this even when he was in Khartoum itself. I mean, he painted that house in many different ways, using different materials and techniques. So it is something to think about. And not only this one, I mean, there are other, themes that which he returned to so many times. And this is not because he can't think of something else, but because he always thinks that he can do it differently. He can discover something more interesting in the same subject and presenting it in a different way. So this is something you don't find really with other artists. Although he's one of the generation of the early 60s, he never got being part of any group or any school. He decided he wanted to be himself, and he went all the way to do his own thing, never caring about what that might bring him, or not bring him, actually. And that is why he was under-recognized, because if he was part of any bigger group, he would have been recognized, as it happened to so many people who are not of the same caliber of Tayassir. So he's quite unique and quite different person and truly an autobiographical artist. Although the Sudanese artist contributed a lot to the modern African, Arab, and international art scene, in Sudan itself, there was no infrastructure that's supporting, and there were no patrons, there were no galleries, proper galleries, there were no museums. So it is kind of very strange, situation which the Sudanese artist lived in. Tajassir had to take a job. He wasn't able to depend on his art, to make a living. So he had to take different jobs. Teaching, working as interior designer, working as a consultant, and he kept teaching all throughout his life. And that actually didn't help him a lot in his art, because he was very much spending all his energy doing something not really related to what he should be doing as an artist, painting and drawing and doing all these kind of things. But nevertheless, he managed to pull quite reasonable amount of work, which we are now enjoying in his absence. And we should thank him very much for that.